Welcome to the Laughta Show on NBC, your favourite go-to podcast to discover and connect with some of the hottest Arab artists globally. My name is Laughta, aka the rapper, aka the producer, aka the host of the Laughta Show, and today I have a very likeable guest for you. She has been somewhat planting her seeds, blossoming, and we are here to know where it all stems from. It's Fulana.
It's like the nicest intro anyone ever gave me in my life, including my family members. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's very deserving of a beautiful flower like you.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing? What's the latest with you?
I've been good. Flew in from Jeddah today.
Oh.
Went to visit the city for post-Eid. It's been nice.
That's nice. Did you get up to anything in particular? Like, what's like your Eid kind of tradition? What do you do?
Well, I went to visit my dad, so it's been a minute since I've moved to Riyadh. I've seen anyone that was like from my close family, so it's been nice.
Yeah, it's a really nice time actually to get around with your family and to have some nice one-on-one time with your dad.
Absolutely.
It's good.
Absolutely.
So you just went there for the treats?
Yeah. I went there for the treats and for my cat.
Yes. Actually, you mentioned Jeddah, so I want to talk about a bit about where you come from, because you're originally from Saudi Arabia, Jeddah. That's like your home.
Yeah.
But you were born in Canada.
Yep.
And I want to know, was music always in the plan for you? Or is this something quite kind of recent?
Like my entire life?
Yeah.
No. No. I think up till the age of 6, I believed I'd be a Pokemon trainer. When I was 10, I thought I'd be like a diver, marine biologist.
Wait. You said you'd be a Pokemon trainer?
Yes, a Pokemon trainer.
Is that real life Pokemon trainer?
Yeah. I mean, real life is really whatever you make of life. So
I love it. No, I'm all for this life. Like, I'm missing out. Anyway, we could talk about that after.
Just mega nerd. Music started with me when I was like around 13, 14. Okay. That's when it was like, oh, I can make this. This is fun. But it never turned into like a career till like 4 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. And how's that been so far for you?
As a career?
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Really?
Terrifying. Beautiful, but terrifying. Yeah.
Terrifying because why? I want to know why.
Terrifying because it's always, you grow up never really thinking you could do something. And then you realize, oh, not only can I do it, but I can kind of excel in it as well.
Absolutely.
So at any point you feel like, oh, this is real life. Maybe more anxiety-ish feeling with excitement more than terrifying.
Yeah, you're talented because you also produce as well.
I do.
So how long have you been producing?
So when I started initially, I was mostly just a producer, and it wasn't even something I would consider to be music. It was just like sound diaries. And so I was always experimenting with different instrumentation, trying out different keys. Mind you, like it really was a decoupage of a sound. And then I started writing. Singing came at the very end for me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, because a lot of artists, they like to produce after, but you came in constructing sounds and then becoming an artist.
Absolutely.
Wow. And I wanted to talk about your project that you dropped with Input-Output producer duo.
Yes.
Ground From.
Right.
It's a really interesting name in general. We'll get to talk about that in a moment. But just knowing you on a personal level, I know you spent a lot of time on this project. A lot of energy went into this. How did it feel the moment it was let go out of your own control and released into kind of the ears of the population?
Whenever I think about any release, or like you would know this more than I, that there's always this excitement, but also worry about how people would kind of receive a piece of work.
Yes.
I think this is the first project I ever put out with absolute confidence that it was going to do well. Not because I thought it was bomb, or amazing or whatever, but because I had really put in all of me in this project. All my thoughts, all my actual soul was put into this. And I felt like that was enough for me. To be able to put out something that is my most honest was enough of a success for me.
Wow, that's excellent. Congratulations. It's a beautiful project. I've listened to the project on loop. Sometimes I just like the transitions, the sounds. So definitely it's a must listen. Check out Fulana's brand new project with Input-Output Ground From. The name Ground From, I was staring at it for ages. Obviously, we had a few conversations, but not fully. So I don't know where the name comes from.
It comes from, and you are the first to know this.
Oh.
So my grandmother, Hayat, Allah yarhamha, she passed away,
Allah yarhamha.
was my favorite person in the world growing up. And she would always remind me and always say, Ya binti ya Nadine, or my favorite Nadine, إحنا منها وإليها. We are from it and to it we return.
Oh, wow.
Which is the ground, essentially. And it was in a way her way of reminding me that whatever we end up doing in the world, our impact is really the people that we touch more than the things we achieve or the materials we hold within our hands.
Wow.
Because essentially we are from the ground and to it we return. And that's it.
You don't take anything with you.
No,
when you go as well. That's really beautiful because your grandma's name is Hayat, which means life.
Yes.
So I wonder if, don't know, she just embodied that.
She was everything that I wanted to be growing up, and I think essentially a lot of my core is really a lot of what she told me.
Wow, that's such a beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing that. Actually,
of course.
The name Fulana.
Yeah. Jeez.
Where does that come from?
It comes from me wanting to do it anyways and putting out my music on SoundCloud as the equivalent of Jane Doe, which is exactly what Fulana is.
Right.
So it's like, you don't know who I am, but you can only hear what I put out there. And that way I was in the clear.
So would you say you've slightly grown in that sense? You're feeling more comfortable to be at the forefront, in the spotlight?
For sure. Look, I don't think I'm ever going to be comfortable in the spotlight. I naturally am very secluded in my ways. However, I think what happened this year or late last year was that for the first time I felt like Nadine and Fulana became the same person.
Wow.
I used to always say that Nadine is this person, Fulana is everything Nadine is not, or anything or everything Nadine did not feel courageous enough to be or to say. And now I feel like, no, they kind of merged into one. So yeah, I grew into her, she grew into me.
Yeah, I remember actually having this conversation with you, and you were very adamant that they were two separate.
Yeah.
And at times you were like, do you know what? I don't even know if I want to do this even.
Yes.
I might shift like occupation and end music completely because I just don't want to be even known as the person. I remember actually we had a conversation. You said, I don't want to be known. I'd rather my songs just be played.
Yeah.
And people don't know it's me.
Yeah.
But
I still
people
feel that way.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's just because I feel like the way music is regarded sometimes, often you'd find songs are more, I don't know, accepted or liked or popular just because the person behind it is a popular person. It has nothing to do with the quality of the work itself. And so for me, I'd rather the work speak for itself.
Ooh, I like that. That's kind of going to bring us nicely into a few other things I want to talk to you about. But before that, I have to mention your love for nature. We do hear it trickling through your new project, Ground From.
Yes.
Would you say kind of incorporating nature sounds in your music is something that inspires you to create, or does it come part and parcel? Do you put those sounds after? How does it work? And why do you include it?
Oh, that's a lot of questions. You might have to remind me of them. Wait. So let's start with why, for instance.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I think when I first started making music when I was younger, a lot of what I would include are very ambient sounds that I'd record myself, not necessarily nature. But because when I started production, it was, like I said, a diary. And so it was me kind of expressing a feeling related to a space or a person or a situation, always associated with the sound of the space in which I kind of experienced it. So ambient and including just sounds from our environment has always been a big part. And it was depending on the project that I would pick the sounds. Most of the time recorded myself, sometimes sampled. And then when I signed as Fulana as an artist and I started my professional career, I kind of lost the sense of that. I kind of drifted into a different style, nothing that I'm not happy about. It was important for me to grow in that regard, but I felt like I lost a bit of my essence as a musician. And I realized around that time I was starting to feel a little disconnected from my work. And so I went back and I was like, okay, so what's the thing that really felt the most exciting about the projects used to create? What was the most fun part to me? And that was the incorporation of sounds of environment. Naturally, given that this project is about nature and the order of nature and the way in which we grow and, kind of disintegrate into the earth, nature felt like the one thing or the one environmental sound that would express that cycle of life in the most soft way. And I've also been someone who kind of grew up around nature, grew up wanting to be a plant, wanting to be able to talk to animals. And so it just felt like, yeah, it was kind of an ode to younger Nadine and the way that she used to enjoy being in the grass, and older Nadine who liked to incorporate environments. That's a very long answer. I'm so sorry.
It's not. It's fine. It's your thought process.
Yeah.
And I think with your music, you know, you could probably say it has a dark undertone to it, but actually it's beautiful. You're talking about life, the cycle of life, and it's the truth, and it's somehow incorporate into a musical piece that makes me want to listen to it over and over again. It's like R&B songs. It's like a variation of different styles. Like, I really love it, and I think it works for you.
Thank you.
I wanted to also like just talk about, there was this article that I was reading, and it was an interview with yourself.
Okay.
And you said something along the lines of, you don't feel like your music is commercial per se.
Girl, don't get me started on this topic. Oh, yeah.
And I feel like we've kind of been touching on it as we're going along.
Yes.
It's a big part, I feel, of what you stand for.
Yes.
And how important is it for you to make music from the core then?
Yes.
And why... Yeah, how do you differ from that commercial side?
Nadine, why do you not like commercial music?
Yeah, I'm trying not to say that.
No, look, I have full respect for commercial music.
Yeah.
I think it has its own, qualities that I find cute.
Yeah.
However,
We love it.
however, I try so much to create work that is thought-provoking, and it kind of sounds like I'm a bit pretentious when I say, but no, not really. I'm trying to be as honest as possible here.
Yeah.
My issue with commercial music or with music generally is that sometimes we forget that it is an art form equivalent to beautiful film, to actual paintings put on walls, and sculpture, and all these other art forms usually come with a sense of, it gives you a moment to think. And I like work that kind of makes you stop for a moment and reevaluate things. Stop for a moment and experience something that's a little different, or see a perspective that's a little different. So I treat it like it is that. Specifically with my last work, I treated it like it was the results or findings of research and a lot of passion and a lot of, deep diving into my psyche and psyches of other people around me in different cultures and blah, blah, blah. We can get into that later. So with commercial, what I feel like happens is that there's like a trendy kind of algorithm that works.
Yeah.
And then you end up having copies of copies of copies of copies of the same words and the same songs by different artists. And then you wonder, like, what am I learning from this? What am I gaining from this?
How is this creative?
How is this? Yeah. So like, what about it makes it special?
Absolutely. And music is supposed to be a form of self-expression.
Absolutely.
So if you're just replicating something that you think is working for views, for likes, for plays, then it's never going to be a musical artistic piece.
Absolutely. I think of it more as like, this is a conversation I was having with a friend of mine. I was like, I think I no longer can define myself as a musician per se. I think I'm more of an audio artist.
I think you're a musician. That's what makes you a musician, right? You're actually a musician that cares about the art.
Thank
and
you.
we need to give props to a lot more artists like yourself who take the art seriously and pour their heart and soul into it. When I was first starting out, I had all different comments. You should do this, or you know what, maybe this, or I even felt the pressure to be like, do I make a song that's going to get played on radio?
Right.
But quickly I realized,
I mean, it's really easy to fall into that, because then the truth is, like, for artists, I kind of put myself in the category of indie. For indie artists, there are so many of us here, but it's just unfortunate that the focus tends to be on what is quick to push out, what is easy to digest, and what ranks up numbers not even on listening platforms, let's be honest, what ranks up numbers on platforms that are mostly for social interaction, like Instagram and TikTok. And I think it's kind of strange that, a success of a song that is primarily an audio piece of art is based off its ranking on a visual platform.
Absolutely.
It makes no sense.
This is a conversation I was recently having.
Yeah.
I don't think, my personal opinion is views and the number of streams should be scrapped. I feel like we don't need to put a number next to it. All it does is put pressure on the independent artist community who don't have these big labels, investing, putting the marketing, pushing it out to different audiences.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you're constantly failing.
Yeah.
When actually it's probably a matter of having a team behind you, an organization with huge connections and financial means.
And mind you, even if it was like an artist doing it on their own, like let's say you have in the day a realistic capacity of like 60% for imagination and creation.
Yeah.
Having to need to put out that kind of content on Instagram or TikTok takes up about 40% of that energy.
Time consuming.
And so like your priorities become more of bringing in numbers on these platforms to become popular so people listen to your song.
Absolutely.
Versus people following you for the music first, right?
That leads me nicely onto my next question. And do you feel that having a viral song then these days is key to an artist's success? Like, would you, as Fulana, want to have that one hit song that everyone's singing along and they may not know who you are, but they're just singing along? Or do you prefer having like a niche following, to say, that builds over long periods of time, and you have your cult following, so you can maybe pack out 1,000 capacity venues, but you know, for the next 10 years, people are going to show up in those 1,000 capacity venues? Or do you want to go big?
No, I don't think big is for me. Not because of anything. I just feel like I think viral works for certain people with certain goals in life, right?
Yeah.
Some people really want that as artists, and I have the utmost respect for them. Like, you know what? But I don't think that's my route. And I'm saying this, and I know that the next time I'm in the studio and the guys hear this, they're going to be like, Nadine, no, we should aim for a viral song. But I just think if you go in with the mentality of I need to make a viral song rather than I want to make something or create a piece that embodies a certain feeling, you kind of lose it.
Absolutely.
It becomes kind of boring too. Like, imagine just doing the same thing again and again. It's so boring.
Yeah, I think it becomes monotonous and it's too much pressure. And there's the whole world of TikTok. And I hear it a lot, even like when you're working with teams, you need to post on TikTok. That's how your music's going to get out.
Yeah.
So for me, as someone that's come from the roots, I'd say, from the ground up, that's really taken music for a serious form and does it with a passion and for what it is, just music. That feeling of having to just make music that you post on TikTok, hoping it would do well, means you're trying to just become an artist that's molded to a platform.
Absolutely.
That's like saying I'm making songs just to go on radio. Now it's shifting to I'm making songs that are going to do well on TikTok, or I'm going to create this piece of content that's going to go. It's just too much pressure on the artist these days, I'd say.
I think it's become such an important part of their process. Like, I was having a conversation with this artist and she was like, oh, I can't make my verses too long because then it won't fit into a TikTok frame.
Oh,
I was like, you cannot be creating
art. Bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't say bad, but I'm just saying it's an interesting way how even structurally in a song people are looking at things differently to fit into a mold, again, of social media. I mean, I guess in Saudi specifically, my commentary is going to be mostly on Saudi because, you know, regionally there are countries that have been doing this for years beyond us, and internationally, let's not even get into it. But like, because the idea or the persona or whatever of being a musical artist is still relevantly new. I think a lot of the methods that people are using are still very much inspired or taken from the book of how to be a social media influencer. So it's like they're following the same kind of structure in the way that they put out things and the thought process when it should be completely different.
I agree. And it's whether or not you see the music business as the music career as a business. Because as artists, we have to survive. We have to put food on the table. We have to find our outfits. These things all cost money. We have to shoot our videos. You know, we have to consider our travel plans for shows. Sometimes you're doing shows for free just because it's a great stage to be on. But who's going to do your makeup? Who's going to... All these kind of financial struggles that you have to consider. So there's a lot of challenges artists have to consider, and whether or not you abide to the norm of today is a whole different question.
Right.
So should you, adapt as an artist because you want to be successful?
Yes.
You do need to put food on the table, and maybe as an indie artist, which you mentioned,
yes,
sometimes you don't have the big investment. Sometimes you do. Sometimes
I mean,
you
I'm
don't.
so done with this idea that artists have to be starving. I think we're done. No more starving artists. No more starving artists. Enough. That's such a cliche.
Right.
I completely agree with you. Like, I understand what you're saying, that sometimes we need to do things just to get the money in.
You got to get the bag in.
But girl, I think for me, I would never ever have that affect the quality of work. I think it might affect the kind of shows I do. Like, there are shows that I will take for the financial gain, even if as a whole I may not entirely agree.
Yeah, so it's the amount you do it, I guess.
Yes.
So you're like, you know what? I'm going to do this one-off.
Yes.
And it will continue to fund me. I'll be cool.
Absolutely.
I could be creative.
Absolutely.
It's a business. Or the other option is you get a side hustle.
Right.
In a completely different
Or
field.
that, yeah. Like, I'm always telling young artists, I'm like, don't quit your job. Like, don't quit your job until you're 100% sure you have at least enough to cover you for a minimum of 3 years. The basics.
Absolutely.
The basics.
Are you an artist that would want to get signed to a label? Or would you prefer doing the independent way where there's support from a label, but you're not necessarily signed to the label?
I think as Fulana, the project is a pretty special case, because when I first started, I was immediately signed. Or that's how I started, because I got signed.
Right, yeah, you said that.
And I was signed for a good 4 years. And I will say, like, as a support system, it was necessary for someone who had no idea what the music industry was. It was nice to have someone have my back. It was nice to have someone carry the load with me and do the work and explain a lot to me. So there was a lot of learning in that experience. However, I had signed at a point where I had at least on my own 2 unofficial demo albums. So I kind of knew what I was doing. I had a sense of what my sound was.
Right.
So for me, like, signing with a label was initially a good idea at the time.
Okay.
And now with this album and with the experience that I have, very, very humble experience, but still relatively experience, I'm happy to say that for now, I'm pretty good being unsigned.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, that's interesting. You've got maybe some freedom, or there's less pressure as well. If you're signed as an artist and there's like a huge investment into your music, you now have to recoup that. And you could instantly feel like you're not doing well. But maybe the expectation from the onset was set too high. I've not necessarily been signed, but maybe I've had investment in a project or two. And if you don't recoup instantly, that feeling is horrible.
I know. It's like you've not only failed, and it's dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on everything. You know, it's like pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Yeah.
What's next for you? I would like to know. What music are you currently working on?
So I am working on an album, and it's a continuation. So, like, the EP that we dropped in December was part 1 of a 2-parter. Everything we had discussed in the first EP was, well, we were talking about essentially death.
Yeah.
The whole album is a very long love letter to death, or a personification of death. And it's really just that focus on the ideas of endings and beginnings and that feeling in between.
Yeah.
So our first album ends at the point where the body hits the ground.
Oh.
And so chapter 2, or disc 2, or however you want to call it for now, the album, is the experiences of the soul after it is buried, or after it hits the ground.
Wow.
So it's a continuation.
It's a continuation. It goes on to the unknown and the unseen.
Yes.
And that's where the creativity, I feel, begins.
It's so exciting.
It's endless thoughts. We don't know what happens.
Alhamdulillah.
So the headlines today, by the way, I was just having a little flick through, and my mouth literally dropped. I didn't know this, that Madonna and Elton John had a feud over I don't know, a span of like 10 years. I didn't know this, but listen to what it's over. It actually crackled me a little bit.
Okay.
It was over lip syncing. So supposedly Madonna, yeah.
My face dropped so fast. So fast.
I just never knew that, two kind of heavyweights would even go and have spats over such
lip syncing.
So listen to this. So Elton John was fuming, it seems, by the likes of it, at Madonna because she picked up an award. I don't know what year it was exactly, for best live performance. It was at the Q Awards or something.
Okay, and she was lip syncing.
And he said something along the lines of, how can you win a best live if you've been lip syncing? And he said worse things. They got into it, but supposedly they've made up recently at a show and he apologized and there might be a song. So your views on lip syncing? I would love. First of all, let's take this in.
I'm not one to judge. I'm not one to judge.
Yeah.
But if you're having people paying for tickets, give them what they paid for. And if you're, I don't know. Look, my issue with lip syncing is that, like, I could listen to this on my iPod, my guy. I don't need to be there. But also, I understand that some performances are not just about the vocal performance. It's a whole show. Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure who lip syncs and who doesn't, but I'm assuming people that are like constantly moving on stage have at least some sort of backing track at the same level of their vocal range.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is not something I have a very strong opinion on. I don't really care.
I think it was quite interesting. Obviously, there must be other artists that take it really seriously, especially as singers. However, I
would never do it.
Right, you would never do it.
I would never do it.
You'd prefer to be live the whole time. But
yes,
I feel like if you're someone that's like Rihanna, and I don't know if she does lip sync or not. I think she's an amazing performer. I've seen her live. But she dances her soul out. How do you sing and dance to that level if you're a full-time performer? Maybe lip syncing is part and parcel.
Girl, have you seen Wicked?
Briefly.
Okay, so there's a scene where Cynthia Erivo literally is on a broom upside down. Oh. And the entire thing was live recorded.
So you're saying there's no excuse?
There's no excuse.
Okay, I love it.
Really. I mean, if Beyonce does it and Cynthia does it.
She can sing live. Beyonce, I feel like, is a whole different
dude, like,
breed.
they don't... I feel like I don't want to say words that will get me in trouble. No. People always say I have like really hot takes, but if people are paying tickets, sing live. Just do it. Yeah,
I agree. I had some feedback recently. I heard someone say they attended a show. They were really excited to see this band. I think I can't remember who it was exactly, so I can't shame them, and I wouldn't anyway. It's not my taste.
Yes,
but they paid a certain amount, and they went and they were lip syncing, and didn't really seem engaged.
Were they at least playing the instruments?
No, I don't know. I don't really know. Yeah, that would be, especially if it's a band. If you're not playing. Yeah, what's happened there?
That doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
I'm very confused, Laughta.
Now, I want to move on a little bit. I want you to spill the tea here on the Laughter Like Show. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just fling at you.
Oh, these are the questions. Hit me.
I'm going to fling at you some fast-paced questions.
Sure.
I don't want you to give it any thought, right?
Okay.
First thing that comes to mind, you say it. And we're going to see how well you do. I've got Martassem. He's going to be there with the sound effects. We've got some booze, we've got some claps.
Okay. Prepare. Cue the booze.
Yeah, cue
the booze.
No, I'm sure we won't. So here it goes. Favorite venue you've performed at?
The shower.
Oh, if you were an instrument, what would you be?
A glockenspiel.
Wow, we need a round of applause for that. If you can find the glockenspiel, we need that sound as well.
Yes.
Weirdest place you've written a song?
Driving?
Oh, you need to go on. Driving. Okay, fine.
Driving.
If you didn't do music, what would you be doing?
So many things.
Oh.
So many things. First thing, anthropologist.
Anthropologist.
Nice.
Yes. Studio recordings or live performances?
Can you clarify? Depending on what?
We need a timer here right now. You've got 3 seconds. Performing in a studio or live performances?
Live performance.
Okay. Pre-show ritual. Tell me what it is.
Showing up right before the show, 10 minutes prior, so I don't have to talk to anyone.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Dream collab. We might need a boo
like
here.
International?
Oh yes.
Aurora.
Any.
Aurora.
Aurora. Okay, fine. And favorite song you've done?
My own?
Yeah.
Decompose.
Oh, round of applause. We need a round of applause, Martassem, if you could throw that in for sure. Thank you. Wow, you did well. Because other guests I've had here, they give me long answers.
Girl, I'm pretty sure those are not going to be the answers that I meant tomorrow.
But that's what it's about. You're not meant to give it thought.
There you
Well
go.
done.
Yes.
You can breathe now.
Thank you.
No, thank you. It's honestly been great to like get into it, chat, and hear everything you've got to say, understand you a bit more.
Thank
And I guess this is what this platform's about, you know, to strip away the curtains.
Yes,
Rather, we're
yes.
always on stage, we're always performing, but who are we as artists? And I think it's important people know who you are, and it's okay to be different, to be someone that doesn't necessarily like the limelight, and someone that's true to themselves and their music, and that's what you've showed, and you will inspire other people.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up this
Oh, no.
beautiful chat that we've had here on the Laughter Light Show,
My favorite dish is spaghetti. What?
oh right.
I feel like it's another hot thing. What?
You're so
Tell
funny.
me.
Oh, it's no name of that. It's actually a nice warm piece of just like something I love doing on the show is called Pass the Baton. Okay? And it's an artist baton whereby I want you to think of an artist that you would like to see here with me, who you would like to pass the baton to see on the Laughter Light Show. Is there an artist that you think is deserving of this? It's all about community, supporting each other. And yeah, I'd love to hear someone that you want to see here.
Can we pause? I need to think about this one. Shoot, I need to think about this one. بسرعة Nadine, mean. Does it have to be someone from Saudi?
It doesn't. Whoever you actually want.
One of my favorite artists currently is this fantastic woman called Shaybani.
Shaybani?
Yes. She's based in Canada, right in Toronto right now, but she's originally, I think she's originally from Iraq.
Wow.
Yes, and Shaybani was an artist that I started listening to way before I got into music as a career. And I've been very, very lucky to become very close friends with now. I'm going to go visit her in the summer. But she is an artist by all means of an artist.
If she's ever in the region, hit me up.
Girl.
And we're going to get her on the show. She sounds incredible.
She's fantastic.
And be sure to send me some of her music.
I shall.
Fulana, you have been the best.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm
Thank you so
sure
much.
you're going to have an amazing year. And we look forward to more music. Saying that, thank you for tuning into the Laughter Likes podcast show. You can catch more of Fulana on the Laughter Likes radio show on NBC Loud, where I'll be playing some of her music, or my favourite music, on her brand new project, Ground From. And be sure to tune in, same time, same place, with a different face on the Laughter Likes show podcast. It's Laughta. I'm out.